Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to start new video series of Asp.NET Core by using MVC. In upcoming videos we will cover Web API also with the Asp.NET Core. So in today's session we are going to start with CRUD operations with Entity Framework by using DB first approach. For this we are going to use Microsoft Visual Studio 2022 and SQL Server 2019. First we should know when to use DB first and when to use code first approach. So these two things we explained in MVC video tutorial. If you have not seen my video tutorial of MVC, please go through with that video tutorial. We covered everything in that tutorial. Before continuing with this session, I would request you all, please subscribe to my channel and click on bell icon for notification alerts. So we are going to use Microsoft SQL Server for this demo. And this is my PC name and this is my SQL Server instance. Here I am using Windows authentication. If you want, you can use the SQL Server authentication by providing your login credentials. So in my case I am using Windows authentication, and I provided my server name and SQL Server instance. So we have to click on connect. It's connected to database server. Right click on the databases to create new database. Click on new database. Here we have to provide the database name. I'm creating as demo1, and here you can store your database files like MDF and log files. Here I am going to store all my MDF files inside the SQL_DB, and the log file I am placing in separate folder called log. If you want, you can keep both the files in same folder also. Click on OK. Okay, so database has been created now. So now we have to create our SQL table. I click on the tables, new, click on table. Here we have to provide column names. So data type I provided as integer. I don't want to allow nulls. I want to make it as primary key of this column, and I don't want to insert any values manually. This is primary key. I want to use identity. Here you can select yes, or you can double click here, so it will be incremented by 1. And here I am giving as first name. I am giving as 150 characters, and it is mandatory. I don't want to allow nulls. I want to give it as last name also, varchar of 50 characters. Here I am allowing nulls for last name. So simple, we are taking 3 fields with the ID, first name and last name. We are creating one table here, save table. Here we have to provide the table name, giving table name as employee. Click on OK. So our table has been created. You can refresh here. Our table is available. Now we have to create .NET Core application. For that I am going to use Visual Studio 2022. Click on create a new project. Here I am going to select ASP.NET Core application with the MVC model. This is the MVC we are going to use. In future we are going to cover with the Web API also. Select the ASP.NET Core web application with MVC. Click on next. Here we have to provide our project name. I am giving as DB first. I am going to store in this folder. Here we can provide our solution name. So this is my solution name. You can check this if you want to place this solution also inside the same directory, that is project directory. If you want to keep it outside of that project directory, you can uncheck this. So this is my solution name. Click on next. Here we have to select the framework. I am using Visual Studio 2022, that's why it is available .NET 6.0. If you are using Visual Studio 2019, you may be having 5.0. If you are using older versions, then it will be different in your case. In my case, .NET 6 is available, so I am selecting the latest .NET framework and I am using the HTTPS to configure the application. Click on create. So our .NET Core project has been created here. Here we have to add some packages. For that we can go to tools, NuGet package manager. You can use the package manager console, and this is one option. This is our package manager console. Also we can use, like, right click on the project, manage NuGet packages. Here you can browse and you can select your package and you can install. First we will install SQL Server, EntityFrameworkCore.SqlServer. So while installing in package manager console, you should know the name of the package, then only you can go through with the package manager console. This is the install -package we have to provide, then you have to pass your package name. Hit enter. To install any packages we need internet connectivity, so this has been installed successfully. So like this we will install another package called Tools. So we have to install this package also. Click on install. So you can use any one option. Click on OK. Accept the license terms. You can use either package manager console or you can use the direct NuGet package manager also. So this has been installed successfully. Here we need another package called Designer. This is one. Click on install. Okay, accept. So this package has been installed. Next we have to create all our models from existing database. So for that we have to use scaffolding. So this is our server name we are passing here, and here we have to pass database and trusted connection should be true. And here we are going to use SQL Server, that's why I am passing as Microsoft.EntityFrameworkCore.SqlServer. And whenever we are scaffolding our DB context, we have to provide the output directory where we want to store all that models. So we want to store our models inside this directory, that's why I am passing as models. Hit enter. So build started now. So build succeeded. So this is our database context has been generated by using the scaffolding. So this is our SQL Server connection string. What this error is saying that to protect potentially sensitive information in your connection string, you should move it out of source code, because it is showing in source code. Always there will be risk. Just remove from here and keep it in outside the source code. That's what it is showing here. And at present we will comment this one so that we can fix this error and build the application. After adding DB context, just we are building the application. If there is any error, we can fix it here itself, so there is no error. And if you expand the models, we can see our data context files, also our model which we created in our table, like ID, first name and last name has been added here. Now we have to create our connection string, because when we created the database context we commented here. So by default, whenever we are creating database context by using scaffolding mechanism, so this will be added here, but in source we should not add the sensitive information like any user ID, password or connection string. So that's why we commented here. We will copy this connection string here, and in .NET Core we have to place all our connection strings in app-setting.json. So this is almost similar to our web.config in normal MVC application or web application. So here I am going to add connection string. Here we have to provide our connection string name. I will give it as default connection. Here I will place it my connection string. So this is our connection string to connect with the database. Now we have to call this connection string from app-setting.json. For that, open the program.cs. Here we have to call our connection string. I will create one variable called connection. Builder dot configuration dot get connection string. Same like in our MVC, we have to call our connection string. So here we have to copy our connection string name, that is default connection. I will pass it here. So now we can read our connection string from app-setting.json to our program.cs. Now we have to add this connection string to our services. For that, builder.services dot add database DB context. Here we have to pass our DB context name, that is demo1 context. You have to pass it here, and we have to import namespace DB first models. Then here we have to pass options. Here options dot use SQL Server we are going to use. Here we have to add one namespace, that is Entity Framework Core. Here we have to pass our connection. So this is the connection we are getting here. This name is spelled wrongly. That's it. Now we can access this connection string here. So now our database connectivity is ready. Now we have to create one controller for employee. For that, right click on the controllers, add controller. Here we have to select MVC controllers with views using Entity Framework. I am not going to create manually any of the view. If you want to create any view manually, then you can select empty, so that it will create empty controller, Here I am going to use views using entity framework, so that by using scaffolding it will create all views for us. Click on add. Here we have to select our database model, that is employee, and our controller name is employees controller. You can observe here we don't have any folder called employees. Now it will be created one folder and all the views will be moved into our employees folder. Click on add. So by using scaffolding it will create all the views for us. So it's created the controller, as well as there is a folder called employees under views. So it is created all the views for us like index, create, delete, details and edit views. First we will see the employee controller. Here it is initiated the DB connection, and then this is our index action method, where it is taking all the list of employees and it is returning to view for binding purpose. So this is the details action method, where ID is optional parameter, and if it is null then it will show the not found error, and we will, based on ID, we will try to get the employee details from the DB, and if it's not found any employees with past ID, then it will show again not found exception, and if any records available then it will return to view, that is details view. Then this is the create action method. This is used for only view creation pop, and this is the post action method for create. Here only we are going to save the data into database. Before submitting this post action method, we will check whether this model is valid or not. If it is valid only, we are going to save this employees. And this is the edit action method. Here also ID is optional parameter. If ID is not available, then we are showing as not found exception. We are going to check based on user input, that is ID. If any employee is available, then it will be returned to view. If employees is null, then it will return again not found exception. Like this. Again we have another method called post for edit, that means update purpose. Here we are going to pass ID and employee model with the data. If this ID is not equal to which is passed by the employee model, then we are going to return as not found exception. These things we can observe in the demo while performing demo. If model state is valid, then only we will update the data, otherwise we will return to view. And finally we have another action method called delete. This is almost like edit, which we use. ID is optional parameter, and if ID is null, then we are going to return not found exception, and we are going to check the records from the employees table based on user input, that is ID. If records is not available, then we are going to return not found exception. If any data is available, then we will return as that employee details. So this is post action method for delete, and based on ID we are going to remove the entry from employee table, and we are going to save. If you know entity framework, then this will be easy to understand. If you have not seen my MVC examples, already I explained about all the CRUD operations by using DB first, code first and edu.net. We used stored procedure also to perform the CRUD operations. Please go through with my MVC examples playlist. Here we explained all these entity framework related things. Okay, so now we will build the application. So there is no error. We will run the application. Here we have to call our employees controller. So this is our index action method. Click on create new. Here, without entering any values, I am trying to create. So the first name field is required because this is mandatory field. While creating database, we updated as not to allow any null values in first name field. That's why it is showing the error here. Now I will enter any name here, so that error gone, and here you can update. Click on create. That record has been saved here, and I will go to our database. Right click on table, select top 1000 rows. So we are able to see the data. Like this, we will try to update this. Click on save. It's updated. We will check in database. It's updated. And click on details. You can see the details of employee. If you want to edit from here, you can edit. And if you want to go to the back to list, you can go here. And if you want to delete this entry, click on delete. It will ask for the delete confirmation. Once you click on delete, that entry will be deleted here. Like this, you can perform CRUD operations. Also, we can change this display name for first name and last name here. For that, already I covered everything in my MVC tutorial. If you want to see that, you can go through that. You can go through with that MVC tutorial. Here we can add display name. Here we have to add the reference for this. That is component model. Here we can add like first name, so like this we can add it here also, last name. Build the application. Run the application now. We will call our employees controller. So now it is showing us space, first name and last name as we expected. We can create here. Click on create. It's created successfully. You can edit, save. Now click on delete. So it will ask for the confirmation. Click on delete button. So record has been deleted. Refresh here, so that entry has been deleted from the database. So now we will apply the bootstrap styles to this form. For this button, I am going to apply on style class btn. btn primary is bootstrap style. Just I will copy this. For edit also, I will apply the same thing. And for details, I will add it as success. And for delete, I will add danger. This is primary. Now run the application. Go to our controller. So click on create new. Create. So our bootstrap styles are applied here. Also we will apply one break point here so that we will get some space after the last name. For that, go to create. Here we will put one break. Click on create new. Create. Edit. It is working fine. Details. Edit. Delete. So like this we can perform CRUD operations in .NET Core by using Entity Framework. That's it for today. Thanks for watching my video.